We are back on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. MorningLine sponsored by the National Association of Veterinary Medicine.
Nashville.
Nashville. Did it say Nashville? Yeah. Is there a national organization?
Yeah,
though?
it's the AVMA.
Oh, I see. Okay. Been doing that for a long time with us. It's awesome. Allison Fields is our veterinarian, taking your phone calls, 737-7587. Our friend Bob has a question for you.
Hey, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
How we doing? I got one for you, Nick, and one for Allison there.
Okay.
At the library, you know, how your animals getting along anyway, but at the library they cover bees, people, and organizations and paperwork that you ought to check into about the bees and
Sure.
and everything and what they walk around on, okay? And for Miss Allison, how's this Zika thing going?
Well, I think
Zika.
I think that there's still a lot of controversy about the whole Zika thing. I think Zika's been around for years and years and years.
Right.
And it's just now gaining traction. And I think that there's a lot of conflicting reports about, is it really Zika? Or is it something else that's occurring in that population? I don't know. I have not heard any reports of Zika affecting animals.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
As of this point, I have not read anything in my journals, nor have I heard anything. So I think that it's still a big kind of question mark floating over everybody's heads in the human world. And until we have a little bit more clarification on exactly what it's causing or doing, then I don't know that we have a whole lot to learn about it in animals.
Yeah, I mean, there's no indication animals have been tested to see if they're even carriers of it. Or
to my knowledge, no, but I would suspect that yes, that the CDC is probably doing some surveillance.
Looking into that to see if that's how a mosquito could pick up something like that. All right, that's an interesting question. I'm with you on that. There's still unanswered. Certainly, certain groups of folks need to, maybe be aware if you're going to get pregnant. Maybe watch out along those lines, but it's tricky on that. I had not heard anything with regard to pets either on that. All right, now I mentioned earlier I've got chickens now. All right, yeah, I got chickens. Thelma and Louise.
I think those are really cute names.
Now, they're not technically. I mean, I do not consider them pets. I mean, I've got Thelma and Louise. And then I've got, would they be an exact, and I've got bees. I've got my bees. So I got bees and chickens. And my bees aren't pets either, even though I like going watching them. They're cool. I can't pet them or anything, but. And my chickens, you can touch them. You can pick them up.
They make sweaters for chickens.
I've heard.
And they make little panties for chickens so they can come in the house and they don't
I know, they make a mess. But that's my question in a way. Now, these are not that tame. I haven't worked with them to that degree. They're not afraid of me, but it's not they come up and let you pet them. But I'm just wondering, in a Tennessee winter, I have a coop set up and they've got shelter and everything and they're properly fed and cared for. Do you have any idea whether or not I have to worry about chickens in the winter when it gets really cold? What would you upgrade? Their coop is enclosed. It's in a fence. Got the cedar chips.
It's about your insulation
Are
in
we
the walls.
thinking insulation? Are we thinking a heat lamp?
A heat lamp in the wintertime. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to look into that because I know it gets awful cold, obviously,
or you can put
outside.
them in the garage with Smokey.
That's right. You remember the cat Smoke. By the way, with people, be it Smoke, and you're the one that got me started with her, which we no longer have her. There are heat lamps you can buy.
They make
that
specific ones for chickens.
Okay, my concern is wherever you're putting it, you don't want it to generate so much heat. You have concern about a fire.
And you put it at the very top of the coop. And
they don't heat up to the point that they would incinerate paper or something, right?
Well, I wouldn't think so, but you might want to head out to the Tractor Supply and talk to them and ask.
Talk to them about what they heat them.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I do know that people who have small coops and they're not coming into a garage or a barn where there's other livestock and things like that, typically in Tennessee do have heaters in there unless it's really well insulated. So if you have, really good insulation in your coop and it's a small enough coop, then the chickens can kind of make their own heat and do all of this. But, if it's a regular coop that's just your wood, that's not very good insulation.
Yeah, I think I'll have to look into some kind of heat lamp. All right, maybe a heat lamp. And I don't know, one other thing.
You also probably need the water things that either you're going to need to go out and break the water every day so that they can have water because it'll freeze.
Oh yeah, they've got 3 different water supplies. The thing I'm trying is an upside down hamster one where they can hit the end and let the water drip out. I'm trying to get them to learn to do that. I've got the bowls, and then I have another one that's an automatic feeder. But that's the thing, the water at least just gets dirty. They're constantly knocking it over, and I change it every day. But
in the wintertime, it's going to freeze, and so you probably need to look into one of those heated water bowls.
Yeah. Oh, right. We've talked about that before with
dogs.
The other thing is, I don't know if you've seen this with people bringing in any of their pets, be it cats or dogs. And I worry about this with chickens, even though they're in an enclosure, but these are clever animals. Any concerns about coyotes or things like this, which certainly would go after a chicken. Have you seen any animals that have been, have you ever had to pet a dog or something that had been saved and had been attacked by a coyote that you guys have had to treat, to your knowledge?
I don't know. Because I see animals that have been attacked by something. I've seen a dog that has been attacked by a deer.
Really?
For sure.
Just kicked or something?
Kicked.
Okay.
I've seen a dog who's been attacked by a vulture.
Talons scraping at it? What would the circumstance have been there on a vulture? Did the dog go?
There's
carcass?
a vulture in a tree. There was a dead something on the ground, and the dog came up
to the dead thing.
And the vulture didn't like it, and the vulture tore him to pieces.
The vulture did a number on him.
Oh yeah, and the people brought him in, and they were like, "He got attacked by a vulture," and I'm like, Wow. I mean, really, how often do you hear about a vulture attacking something? And I'm like, I don't know that it was a vulture. Maybe it was a hawk. You know, maybe no, it was a vulture. I'm like, I just can't really think.
Yeah, but they described the scenario, and that made sense.
It was a vulture.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd never seen that before.
Okay, yeah. Well, you see animals attacked, you don't always know, but you know people have lost pets to coyotes.
Correct.
Cats, things like that.
Correct. Small dogs.
They're out there. You hear them at night sometimes. Let's go to Barbara. Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
Hey, Barbara. What can we do for you?
I have a question real quick, darling.
Sure.
Would the vet please tell me what's wrong with my cat? I don't know, for the past 2 months, he's been licking the stuff out the side of his mouth, and it stinks so bad.
Have you been to see your vet?
Not yet.
Okay. You probably need to go see your vet because it could be an infection, it could be a tumor, it could be a lot of different things. So you probably need to take him in to see your vet and see what they can tell you about it. It's really hard to tell you what's going on without seeing the pet and doing an exam. So that's why your veterinarian is so important.
Yep, take it in. Sounds like if it smells bad, it could be an infection.
Yep.
And the thing about cats' mouths, incredibly filthy, right? Okay, if you were choosing, and I know you've been chomped on by a great many, would you rather get chomped on by a dog or a cat?
That's so hard. Probably dog.
Yes. Now, dogs can maybe do more damage. A big one really take hold. But a cat, just a quick puncture wound to the thumb, and you could lose your hand.
You could. Dogs typically hurt worse on the front end because they are a lot stronger.
Yes.
And they can cause lots of damage. Cats doesn't look like it hurts that bad, and it's just this tiny little hole.
Do not
and
ignore
the
it.
next thing you know, you find yourself at the hospital at
tons of germs.
11 o'clock at night because you have a red streak going up your arm.
Yeah. Blood poisoning.
yeah.
That's blood poisoning. Hey, is there such a thing as cat scratch fever? Or did Ted Nugent just make that up?
Absolutely, there's a thing. The CDC just released a paper on it that
Really?
that, hey people, this isn't made up, it really exists. Yes, cat scratch fever exists. It is not that if a cat scratches you, you are going to get sick. The cat has to be carrying a certain bacteria that then they scratch you and introduce it to your bloodstream. I can't tell you how many times I've been scratched in my profession and just with having cats all my life. I've never had cat scratch fever. I honestly don't know of any veterinarians who have. So it is very rare, albeit it is out there and it is true. So if you have cats or if you get scratched and it's not healing appropriately or is a lot redder or you start to feel ill, go to the hospital or go to your doctor.
So there's actually such a thing. And like you said, it's not all cats. It just has to be that cat might be a carrier.
Correct.
And when dogs bite, typically dogs, will they bite and then let go? Or the ones, have you ever had one that just hangs on?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so how do you get one to release? If for instance, if a pit bull which, you know, they've got incredibly strong jaws, grabs your arm and doesn't want to let go. How do you get a dog like that to release you?
Well, I think that a water hose is always a good idea.
Well, I always just carry one of those with me, Allison.
Right, I know. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Because that keeps you away from the animal as well. Past that, to be
hard.
completely honest, there are other dogs that have bitten. I've never been bitten by a pit bull.
Okay.
I don't think that pit bulls are all that bad. Now, you put me in a room with a mean dachshund, I'm going to have a problem. I've been bitten by more dachshunds than...
Sure.
Dachshunds, Chihuahuas, and Shar-Peis and Cocker Spaniels are what I have been personally bitten by the most. I've never been bitten by a pit bull or a big dog.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm glad you made that point. I didn't mean it that way. Pit bulls, I think, are very sweet animals. The thing is, certain dogs you look at and you just recognize they have the potential to do damage because they're so powerful.
I had a dog that latched on to one of my arms at the emergency clinic. I'd gotten done with my exam. I'd treated the dog. I'd done everything. And literally, he jumped up and went chink and was hanging from my elbow. He was a Springer Spaniel.
Had the owner warned you he was a biter?
Yeah, we had muzzled him for the whole thing. I was done. I mean, literally, I was standing up, and he was like, "I'm gonna get you," and he was hanging on, and the owners were like banging on his head to get him to let go.
And finally, get. Wow. Yeah.
I had a really pretty colored elbow.
Is that one of the hazards of the biz for you? I suppose it's going to happen. But I mean, you guys did everything you could to protect yourself on that one. Now, every once in a while, and I love, you've told this dozens of times on the show, but we have new viewers now, about when the owner comes in and they don't tell you.
Yeah. You'll be asked to leave my clinic.
Because they come in, right?
Not that funny.
I know it's not fun.
No, I mean, he was a German Shepherd, and I was getting ready to do an exam, and I was just standing there, and the dog was on the other side of the table, and it lunged up and over the table, and literally was like, ka-chink.
Wow,
and
that's
the
not
owner
funny.
yanked him back and started laughing and said, "Oh, I wondered when he was going to do that." I said, "Well, you can wonder yourself right out the door."
Yeah, that's not
I mean,
funny.
that's just not even nice.
That's you could have been seriously injured.
I could have been seriously injured. My staff could have been seriously injured, and all it took was, you guys might want to be careful.
Yeah.
He is aggressive.
Be up front with it. That's
I'm
all.
not
You
going to
get a
make
muzzle
you
or
leave.
whatever.
I'll get a muzzle. We'll make it happen. But don't wait until he tries to eat
It's
somebody.
almost like they were testing to see if the dog would react the way he hoped it would.
Tested
because
his way out the door.
Yeah, out the door. Some macho dude that has perhaps
He's a
other
little old
issues.
man.
Oh, really?
He's a cranky old man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see you later, man. That's
Bye-bye,
not cool.
little
All right,
man.
listen, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, we can take more of your phone calls. It's our final segment with Allison Fields, veterinarian, taking your questions about your pets right after this. Stay with us.